Knit One, Heart Two, episode 135.
Yay! I'm Sheila, also known as Sheila D37.
And I'm Wendy, also known as Penny Winnie. And if this is your first time watching, welcome to the show. And if you're a repeat viewer, thank you for coming back.
We have a knit along where it's a selfish knit along running through the end of the year, December 31st.
Yes, we will draw two prizes for that. The first time we record after 31st, who knows when that'll be.
Because of the new year and everything, Who knows? What else? All packages have been sent out that I owed all prize winners, and I did have one from Brunswick, Maine that I was supposed to mail out a couple of weeks ago, so I apologize.
But that was her. It was me. The delay of it was me the first time, but then I gave it to her because she's more responsible, and the further delay is her.
Sorry.
but now
it has
all
been all
prizes
set.
have
all
been
prizes
mailed.
have been mailed. So we're good on that.
Apparently we're both irresponsible.
Yeah, I can do it. It was just, I don't know.
No, it's just one of those things where you're like, oh, crap, I have to go to the post office. I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, crap, I have to go to the post office. Yeah.
If it makes them feel any better, I didn't go to the bank. I didn't do anything. You know what I mean?
You know, it is what it is.
So,
we're human.
Hopefully they'll realize that. So, jumping right in?
Sheila's going first this week.
Okay.
And if any of this seems a little stilted, we just recorded for half an hour without actually recording anything due to my failure to press the start button. So, we're doing this again. Only, not that you would know this, but now I just told you.
So, I'm working on the needles. I'm working on...
Sheila also has not slept yet.
I had an hour and a half nap before they came over and literally just woke up when they came over. So I'm knitting Urban Necessity by Colleen Michelle Meager, and it's actually... I'm not actually knitting it. That's what it looks like.
It's short-fingered gloves.
Short-fingered gloves with a flip top, and actually this is what it looks like because I made one for my husband. And then it has the flip top. And I made one for Zachary that is actually fingerless. I just didn't do the individual fingers for him. So Max, yeah, I know. He uses it.
It's a grasp on it. I just took it off.
Max requested gloves. So this is what they look like. So I am just doing the glove portion of it, finishing the fingers.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel awkward because I have like a ton of ends in there.
Yeah, I know.
And it's a little tight, and I'm hoping he'll be okay with it. He's got thinner fingers than me, but it's not tight, because you want it tight. But this is what it looks like, so I'm in the middle of the index finger.
It's like a Frankenhand.
I know. But I really like how it's coming out. So some of the modifications I did, and I'll show you on this one, and I'm sorry to keep leaning out. So the pattern calls for, I want to say it's a free pattern. Pattern calls for you to do the gusset, the thumb gusset, and then after the gusset, you increase 8 stitches.
Wow. Like
4 around, then you knit 1, and then you increase another 4. And you get this really, it all of a sudden spreads out by the fingers. So with Zachary's, I didn't do that. I increased right before the pinky, because you do the pinky first.
Right, to give it a little higher.
And then I knit about 1/2 inch before the fingers. And then I increased to get the rest of the total. And it's a little bit wonky, but not really enough. But I think next time I'm going to do it, I'm just going to, after the rib, increase all that I need.
That's what I usually do on a glove, is you do the wrist and then you increase to the whole width of the hand. So that it's whatever width is up here is what you increase to down here, and then you do the thumb gusset.
Yeah.
And then when you take off the gusset, you still have your hand width.
Yeah,
left,
I don't know why, but I've seen a couple
increasing.
of patterns that do it this way, and you can clearly see wonkiness is what I'd want to call it.
Yeah.
But these are nice and thick. These are Patton's Classic Wool Black. Max asked for gloves, and he started looking through my stash, and he grabbed some Blue Moon Fiber Arts. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so.
He is not yet.
He's too young for.
He's not yet
Blue Moon Fiber worthy. I told him when he stops growing for his feet, I will make him a pair of socks out of Blue Moon Fiber Arts. I may need 2 skeins by that time, because he's
getting really tall.
He's got a size 10, 10.5. If you hear some noise, my husband's getting ready for
Also,
work.
we're recording before a live studio audience today. My mom is here. knitting in the background.
So that's all I have on the needles right now.
So me on the needles, I cast on a new project this week. I am doing Stephen West's Rockefeller, which is last year's mystery knit along.
Last year's.
So this is what it looks like. It's hard to tell because it's all bunched up on here, but this is the one side that I've done so far. This is like the main center portion of the back. So it will look like this. It's got this detailing. It's knit in sections. So the first section that is knit is this part, which is basically the same idea as the Spectra, which I've also done. So it was very familiar, but I made a modification. Instead of using wraps and turns, I use German short rows, and they are so much less visible than wrap and turn rows. You can see where they are, but they blend in so much better. So and they're easier to do than wrap and turn, I think. They're faster. So you should check out a tutorial for German short rows and use them from now on because they're pretty good. That's my tip for the day. So that's section 1. Then at the end of section 1, you start knitting section 2. And so section 1 was knit sideways, and then you pick up along this, this is an I-cord edge. You pick up along the I-cord edge, and you knit this section. And this has intarsia to do the stripes, because obviously they're not brought along the whole back. So I did that, and then I am doing, on this one, my modification was that instead of using, I'll show you the picture of the shawl.
Oh, all right, yeah.
From the pattern. So here's the shawl from the pattern. My modification on this one is you can see that he does yarn over increases that make a series of holes. You can see them all in that section. I don't like that. I don't like the holes when they're in a plain field of stockinette. So I made mine all just be regular increases. You can see a little bit where they are, but there's not like holes in mine. Just like the look better. So that was the first modification that I made. The second modification that I did is there are a number.
My husband just stuck his tongue out at us.
So after we were rudely interrupted by Kim,
sorry, somebody's got to make some money.
Somebody's got to work.
Somebody's got to make some money.
So I looked at a lot of the projects on Ravelry to see, how people did theirs. And I noticed a lot of people had modified the design. Rather than usually the next section that you would knit on this is section 2 that I just finished, is this edging down at the bottom that's kind of like stripes with the sideways striping in it. That would normally be knit next, and then at the end you would knit these stripy things on the side, on both sides. But a lot of people, instead of doing that, started to knit the stripy sides first and then make the edging go on the entire shawl. And I haven't looked to see yet, but they've also made this, instead of just doing a straight back and forth stripe, they've done more of these Spectra style stripes, so it makes the shawl longer and wider.
Okay.
So I decided that's what I was going to do because I have plenty of yarn.
What yarn is it again?
This is MadTosh sock.
Oh, okay.
And I'll show it in the Baubles and Bling section because I bought it new.
What's MadTosh made out of? Just or is it actually a combo? Do you know?
I want to say it's a merino nylon blend. I think her sock is a blend.
No, isn't there cashmere in it or something?
Not Tosh sock. No
nylon in the sock.
Just merino.
MadTosh is 100% merino. It could be. Pashmina has the cashmere in it. This is just regular old MadTosh sock.
I like the feel of it.
I do too. I'm a big fan of MadTosh, and the reason that I ended up knitting the shawl.
Excuse me. Sorry.
That was creepy.
Anyone watching us could have told you that was coming.
And the reason I decided to knit it is because it's a lot of garter stitch. It's interesting, but it's kind of mindless, especially the Spectra part. This is very much like that Spectra pattern. And I just really wanted to be doing something mindless with a little bit of interest to it. So, and I saw a lot of people wearing this at Stitches East where I was this weekend.
I like the color combos.
I am really happy with that. I did
like
more
that light
neutral.
blue.
The dark color is called Dr. Zhivago Sky, and the light color is denim, and it's kind of a very gray blue, like faded denim.
Yeah.
And I went through a lot of the project pages before choosing my colors, and I decided that I really like the ones that are more tonal and kind of closer to each other than really bright contrast. And I also decided that I liked it better when the accent was the darker color and the body of it was the lighter color. So for me, that guided what I chose. And then I went to the Webb's booth at Stitches East, and I got a discount.
I wish I knew you were going to Webb's. I wish I knew they were there.
Yeah, they're there every year. You have to go to Stitches East, and then you would know that.
I know, but I would have had you get me some cubits.
Oh, yeah, I guess I could have. Sorry, I thought you knew. They have a big booth there. Anyway, so
were you able to use your $10 gift card?
Oh, I forgot I had a $10 gift card, but I got 20% off.
Oh, there you go. Better than $10.
Because I bought over
a certain amount.
I got a discount from Webb's anyway. So anyway, I have stopped section 2 halfway through the last garter color ridge, and I will be knitting the side stripes in the fashion of this Spectra area for a certain amount of time. I don't know. I'm following somebody's mods. So if you're interested in seeing what mods I'm doing exactly, you can look at my project page on Ravelry. And I have favorited or helpful all of the ones that I'm using. And I'm also keeping track as I go along of how I modified the pattern. And I wanted to say that I found another use. I use this colorwork bag from Knitting Is My Bag to knit this. And now I'm using it to knit the 2 different colors, and I don't know how I ever did 2 colors. It never gets tangled. It's the best. When I'm knitting with 2 skeins of yarn, I'm always like untwisting it. This is how it works. These are caked, so they're center pole caked. So I have the center pole right next to the hole. Awesome. I don't know how I ever did color work or 2 color knitting or 2 skein knitting without this. So I've been working on quite a bit. It's very relaxing. The second thing that I've been working on, you've seen before. This is Semele by Asa Tricosa, and I am knitting it with Leading Men Fiber Arts Ghost Light Lace, which is a merino silk blend in the Envy colorway. And I got another whole pattern repeat done on this week. And the way that this works is it's sideways knit, and you do the main increase rows for a certain number of times, and then you knit a straight section, and you control when you start that. So I can control how wide I want this to be, and I kind of envision this as a shallower, longer shawl. So I don't know. I probably maybe do 2 more increase pattern repeats and then start knitting this straight away. I do need to weigh my yarn to figure out when I'm halfway. I still haven't bothered to do that. So Steve of Dramatic Knits, I hope that your weight on this at the beginning was accurate, because that's what I'm going by. I'm sure it was. So anyway, I'm really enjoying this too, and I'm knitting this on US 6 with my signatures that match the yarn.
Excuse me.
And I am knitting this Rockefeller on, that was another modification. I went up a needle size to make the fabric more
I can't imagine that being on a smaller needle size.
It was meant to be on a 3, and I was like, that is going to be so tight. And a lot of people said that they had trouble keeping this garter edge on the neck to be stretchy enough to block. And so I used the 4. I just went up a needle size. I like it. This is better. And fortunately for me, my US 4s in signature were also free, so I am all signature all the time knitting right now, which makes me happy. So, and that's in my new bag.
Yeah, I was going through my needles this week to find what I needed to knit, and I realized that I got to go through my needles and like get rid of certain.
Yes, I just was telling Sheila that I organized my knitting area and put away a lot of my stuff yesterday. So,
Good.
Including a lot of reminding myself of a lot of projects that are on the needles that need to be finished up, like my glove that I'm almost done with the second glove.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I got to do work on that, so I'll be working on that. But that's all I have that I'm actively working on the needles right now.
Okay.
So,
Write your name.
Finished objects.
I have several. One of them I don't physically.
I'm just going to interject and say I have one that you've already seen before. So go.
I have one that unfortunately I don't physically have with me because I did take pictures, several. So this is my purple socks. That
is the Spiceman pattern.
Spiceman pattern modeled by Zachary.
And it's Yarnissima if you're interested in knitting it. And is it free?
No, I don't think so.
Some of her patterns are free, but I don't know.
And then this is a side view of it with the gusset. My coworker who I made them for absolutely loves them.
Oh, that's good.
She tried them on right there and they fit perfectly, absolutely perfectly. That's the one thing I like about Yarnissima. It just seems to fit really, really well. Better than I think any other sock.
I like the gusset that she uses, but it's a pain. That's a lot of extra stitches you have to knit. But I've always remember from the very first one, I've always liked that Yarnissima gusset. I've used it in other socks before.
Yes, I think it's probably a standard gusset for her, but it does fit very well, and she loved it, and she says, "Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to have to learn how to knit."
I'm telling you,
hand-knit socks
are the best.
I said, not only were you sock-worthy knitting, because I don't give out my socks to anyone.
Yeah.
Except for family and a few other people. But she was Blue Moon Fiber Arts worthy.
That's like a whole other level.
That's a whole nother.
I'm not even Blue Moon Fiber Arts worthy.
I'm not even sock worthy.
No
offense. Why should I make you socks when you have your own sock knitting machine sitting right over there?
That's what I was just going to say.
I'm not ever going to be making
For those of you who are out there watching who have not knit or worn a pair of hand-knit socks, once you wear hand-knit socks, it is really hard to go back to regular socks. They're so warm.
They're so warm. There's just no comparison.
There is no comparison.
So I told her that. I told her the truth. I said, really, the only reason why you were Blue Moon Fiber Arts worthy is because I had 2 skeins of that one.
So she was sort of Blue Moon
She was sort of Blue
worthy.
Moon. So I still have it, and I love that color. That came out just gorgeous. I'm like, what else? And I made these 2 little quick projects. This is Grandma's favorite dishcloth in a Christmas colorway, and it's quick and easy, but it's a wonky. Wonky is the word of the day.
Wonky is the word of the day. It skews off a little
really
bit.
does.
I think it's because of the way you knit it side to side,
diagonally. You knit like this, starting from here up or
this
there
one.
Up. This one is the Daryl Waltrip.
Who is apparently some kind of a NASCAR driver.
And I love how this comes out. And I've done this before.
I love this one.
And it's so simple because you're slipping 2 stitches. It's free. You're slipping 2 stitches.
I like that. I would like that like in a...
There's a sock that has this.
I would like it in some kind of like a multicolored shawl.
But it's not much different than the tweed stitch almost. Chickadee Cowl, I think, uses that stitch.
It's really pretty. I like it a lot.
So these are, I think, going to be some teacher gifts.
Good for you.
This one I did watching football. This one I did half watching football on TV the next night. So 3 projects down.
Wow. Yeah. You are just like a knitting queen at this point.
I know. I really got my mojo back.
You got your mojo. It's because the weather got cool. That always ups the knitting mojo.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. My only finished object is the Hiro sweater, which I showed you last week. Last week I had a wonky neckline.
Wonky is the word of the day.
This week I
It's
have
not so wonky.
a non-wonky neckline. And last week I was telling you that I thought I must have miscalculated or dropped my stitch marker out of the pattern. Well, after I went home and I ripped out the 12 rows that I had to reknit in order to fix my mistake, because the pattern, the short rows for the back were off like by a quarter turn. I looked at some other people's projects, and I am not the only person who ended up with a quarter turned short row. I had more short rows on, it was this side, was like way higher.
Yeah.
And somebody else had problems with the stitch count in the, remember I said I had problems with the stitch count here? That wasn't just me either. So apparently there are a few errors in the pattern. What I did to correct it, I'm not sure if I wrote it in my notes, but what I did to correct it is I divided the number of stitches that I had at the time when the short rows were supposed to start in half. And I kind of pulled up the, folded my sweater up, and I counted so that I had half the stitches in the front, half in the back. And then I looked in the pattern to see how many stitches were not knit, because you do the short rows back and forth, back and forth. There were I think it was something like 43 or 47 stitches. So I took the middle 47 stitches, put some markers in, and then I did the short rows so that the front part was centered and all of the short rows are in the back, and I think it came out really nice.
It did.
And now I don't have that weird, wonky side.
Shoulder looking.
Yeah, it was really strange. And I did look on the project pages. I don't know if the instructions are wrong for all the sizes or just some of the sizes, but I did notice, if you look at the Hiro project pages, I did notice that some people had that thing where, because you can tell where these little dots are, they should be close to the ribbing here and then equally go off to the side, but you can see on the wonky ones, it's they're close here, and then it's really far apart here. And I think it's a problem with the pattern. So if you are knitting Hiro and you're like, hey, this neckline seems odd, it is not you. So, my tip for the day is watch that. I still haven't blocked this, but I have worn it every day. It's my new favorite sweater.
It's been cool here.
It's been cold here. I just really like it. This is a sweater that I wear that people who are not knitters really like, because they're like, ooh.
Yeah.
It looks fancy. And my daughter, when I put it on, she went, oh, wow. She hadn't seen it before. I was waiting for her to ask for one.
And she didn't?
She didn't.
Oh,
I bet she would wear one now. I'm really happy with the way that it came out. This is my new favorite. It would be really cool with hand spun too.
Yep.
So anyway, this is my only finished object. I didn't finish anything else. Whirlwind Romance, still nothing. And my mom chastised me after seeing me put a bunch of fiber upstairs from my giant area. She's like, "Are you ever gonna spin all that?" And I'm like, "Man, I gotta spin more. I have no spinning mojo. I need to get that back." So yeah, but there's no Whirlwind Romance. So Crushes and Heartbreaks.
Future dates?
Oh, sorry, future dates. We don't have notes, man. We're just winging it.
So my future dates, I am going away next week.
Yes.
So I've been planning my knitting. I don't know how much of it I'll get done, but we do have a non-stop from here to LA. So that's a good 6+ hours.
Yes.
It's at 7 a.m. in the morning or something like that. So I went through, I figured a sock and a scarf, 2 different projects so that I could bounce between the two. So I think I'm going to do clapetee with my silk.
Ooh, good idea.
Yeah. And I was looking at socks, something with interest, but not. I think I'm going to do another spring cable sock.
Oh, I love that sock.
Since my wool mize bit the dust on that.
Yeah.
Because it was 100% wool mize and I had holes and I repaired it. So I'm doing it out of Socks at Rock, of course. Blue Moon Fiber Arts, medium weight, and Millen's, it's blue. It's
Devon Is that one that I gave you?
No, this I think was one that I bought in a grab bag. Somebody asked me to explain what the grab bag was.
Oh, right.
So the grab bag,
they announced
last year she did it more frequently than this year. She announces that she was going to do a grab bag, and this one happened to be in colors of warm, cool and neutral, I think. Something like that.
Remember.
And what you did is you paid a flat rate for 3 skeins of yarn. You had no idea, except for the color.
If it was warm or cool or
warm
neutral.
or cool or neutral, what you were going to get.
And it's mill ends. It's not like the,
you're going to get some slubs.
Slubs or knots,
They're not perfects. They're mill
like
ends.
seconds. It would be the same as a second.
They're still good. And I'm trying to I can't even find a slub. There is one mill end that I have that is like, whoa, yeah.
That there's a big slub in it.
But they're at a reduced cost. Trying to think, for 3, I think I paid $40-something.
But then they charge you a lot in shipping.
They do.
They do it overnight or 2 days. It's an expensive.
They do. The last one I did pay a lot for shipping, but I ended up getting free yarn on that. Too,
yeah.
So. That's a whole nother story. But she only did it once, I think, so far this year. Either that or I'm not paying attention.
Because I bought you yarn in that one grab bag one that I gave you for a birthday.
She does it a couple times a year, and basically it's their way of getting rid of the mill ends.
Right.
And it's a cheaper way for us to get them, and most of the time you do get less yardage. It says approximately 380 yards at 5.5 ounces. That doesn't sound right,
Well,
though.
it's medium weight, though. It's heavy.
Yeah. It's still enough to make a pair of socks.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, there might be a few problem areas, but you can just cut the yarn there and reattach. It's totally worth it, and it's a good way to build up your Blue Moon stash without breaking the bank.
Absolutely. And I also suggested to the person to look at the stash of people.
Oh, D-stash, yeah.
D-stash, because you might be able to find decent prices.
You can actually search on Ravelry for medium weight socks that rock yarn, and then there's a little drop-down box where you can tell it to show you only stuff that's for sale or trade.
Yeah.
And then you can just go through. I've gotten yarn that I was looking for a specific colorway by doing that.
Yeah,
or a specific brand.
Mm-hmm. And this is what spring cable looks like. It's just
a nice little cable down the side and some pearl stitches.
It's actually seed stitch.
Oh, it is seed stitch.
It is seed stitch. So this is a cuff down, and it calls for, I think this is free too, 72 stitches. So what I'm doing right now...
Are you going to do it cuff down or toe up?
No, I'll probably do a cuff down. I know.
I hate knitting cuff down.
But what I've been doing is trying to figure out, since I did Blue Moon Fiber Art sock on 1.5, it came out nice.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see, and I kept looking at my project page. That was the lightweight at 1.5. All my project pages says that I've done the medium weight at 1.5. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's been a while since I've knit. So this is a size 2 needle, and I'm just swatching around to see what it looks like, but I think it's too loose.
Yeah, I think that is too loose, because when you put it on, it's really going to stretch it out.
Yeah, so this is what I'm doing. This is a size 2. I'm going to knit a little bit longer and then swatch to 1.5 and see what that looks like. Yeah, so I'll have that. I might cast on the toe before I actually get on the plane.
The cuff, you mean?
Yeah, you're right. See that?
I like toe up better. You
could
totally knit those toe up.
Oh, yeah. And you use Spice Man's.
You could use that gusset. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Maybe I will.
I would totally do.
But I was looking at, I wanted, that pattern really does call for a solid yarn.
Yeah, because it's
semi-solid. I mean, not necessarily solid, but not variegated like this.
It would make it hard to see the detailing if you had a more wild yarn. So that's good.
Yeah. In my Clinique bag.
Your favorite knitting bag.
It is my favorite knitting bag.
I know. We got those from Lois.
This is Lois's, and it's all full. Huh?
I used mine. I found it in my bag. I found a bunch of stuff that I got at Rhinebeck that I forgot I got. Like there was a chocolate bar that we got from...
Oh, that was long gone that day. Are you kidding?
No, I ate mine yesterday. I was like, ooh, chocolate. That's how long it's been since I've cleaned up my area.
And then the clapetty with the silk. So I may cast on both of those ahead of time.
Yeah, just to get them set up.
Yeah, I'm not sure which I'll take on the plane with me, though.
Take both. They're
I
small.
want to carry. I know, but I don't want to carry that much because I'm going to be carrying probably some of the kids' crud with me too.
Make the kids each take a backpack.
They do.
That's what I do.
I got to look to see if we have to pay for luggage too.
What airline are you taking?
I want to say it's Virgin.
Virgin? Oh,
Virgin
I don't know.
Airlines. I don't know.
I know JetBlue doesn't make you pay for the first bag of each person. So we always check.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to double check. And then I have to also check what the airline's policy is on medication. Zachary's on pills.
Is he on any liquids?
No.
Okay.
But he's got 4 bottles, and I'd like to just put it in the 7-day container, but I don't think I can. I think I have to have the pill
I always bring
bottles.
the prescription bottle with me in case they ask.
And it will always be on the carry-on with me because I don't want to lose that.
Because you don't want to be without it. That's what I always bring.
I think that's what I'm going to have to do.
The prescription bottle.
I just wish I could have just taken, but whatever. It is what it is.
Well, you can check. They might say it's okay.
I'm pretty sure that, I think even if you get pulled over, the police start questioning it. If you were to have those, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's because you don't know what's in them.
And you could be like muling drugs to somebody.
And with the amount that he takes, yeah. But yeah, that's all my future dates.
My future dates are to finish all of the projects that I have on the needles.
New Year's resolution for you.
Well, I was telling my mom, my true New Year's resolution is to be knitting entirely from my stash. No matter how tempting it is to buy yarn for a project, my New Year's resolution that I have to stick to is I'm only going to knit from stash.
Now, at Rhinebeck, was it Denise who said that she's not allowed to buy anything online? Her husband made a bet that she wasn't allowed to buy anything online for a whole year?
Yes.
You could always do something like that.
Well, I don't tend to buy my yarn online.
Well, I'm saying, but you could make a resolution not to buy yarn for a
that
year.
would be an easy resolution, and that should be, I will not buy any yarn for a year.
I've actually been very good up until the last couple of months where I bought a couple at Rhinebeck, which I'm not, and then just I tripped over Leading Men Fiber Arts.
Well...
But I don't trip very often.
No. But my thing is I'll see, I want to knit this. I don't have anything in my stash for it, so I'll buy yarn for it. And then I want to do Rockefeller, and I don't have enough yarn in my stash for it, so I buy
So now you're just going to have to find projects
that fit with what I have. I have plenty of sweaters worth of yarn, so if I want to knit sweaters, it's in my stash. And so I'm really going to try. That's my goal.
That.
I don't know.
I'll do that with you.
Yeah, we should try to stash down.
Well, I tend to do stash down anyways. It's very rarely
look at
doing.
Your Blue Moon Fiber Arts hoard. I need to knit some of my.
It's not. It's very
rare.
Sundara
hoard.
Yeah, you do. It's very rare that I buy something specific for a project. This because I don't have manly colors and wool.
Right.
But this is also $5-something.
I bought stuff for the baby hats because you're not going to knit the kind of yarn that I have in my stash.
So maybe we need to write down.
We're going to have to write down a list of rules for Stash Down 2014.
And anyone
who wants to do it.
Yeah, we can pull. Instead of doing knit-alongs,
we can do
stash downs once a month or something like that.
We should do that.
Yeah.
If you guys think that's a good idea, post in the thread.
Not a competition of how much you knit from stash. Just show us what you knit from stash.
Show us that you knit from stash.
And maybe post how long you
it's
had
been
it in stash.
Yeah, how long it's been marinating in there.
My silk that I'm going to do has been in there since You'll Love It was open.
Wow.
First football, Super Bowl.
I know exactly which yarn you're talking about, which is frightening.
And it's all caked up, so...
Yeah, because didn't you try to knit something else with it?
No, I was planning on it, but I think I've always planned the clapetee with that. No, I was going to do a shawl, like a triangle shawl, and then I realized triangle shawls don't go for me.
Yeah. But I like the longer shawl shape. So that's it for future dates, crushes and heartbreaks.
Zachary had a doctor's appointment last week, yesterday, I don't know what day it is. For ear, nose, and throat, he's got a stuffy nose. Since as far back as I can remember, and so they just told us to stick with the Flonase for now, for 3 more months, and see every day, and see how it works. His adenoids have grown back, but not to the extent where they're concerned. But he does see fluid coming?
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm like, okay, so they'll watch it. They don't want to do surgery, but if they do, and they may also do a sleep study because he's too active for this age to be, like, he's very, if we were to sleep, which we're going to have to because we're going away, and it's usually whenever we go away and we're in the hotel room, I got one and he gets one. Heaven forbid they sleep in the same bed and let us sleep together, but I get one and he gets one, and we end up alternating nights on who gets Zachary because it is just so bad to sleep with him.
Why?
Because he just tosses and turns and tosses and turns.
My son
he ends up becoming.
My son twirls.
At this age he shouldn't be. It's not good for him. He really needs to have a restful sleep. So.
Oh,
he's
probably got some strange thing that's going on with his sleep.
I just want to tell a little funny story about this, about work. So we answer for all various types of calls. And I got this one, and I'm like, okay, ma'am, I'll let them know. Okay, ma'am, yes, ma'am, whatever. You just yes and to death. Could you call me miss? I'm only 22. And I'm like, okay, ma'am, you're reaching the answering service. I will relay the information. I just kind of ignored it because I'm like, I'm showing respect by calling you ma'am.
There are people that get really upset if you call them ma'am because it's like an old lady thing.
And this is over the phone. Am I supposed to know how old she is?
No.
I've been called ma'am for the last 20-something years.
I don't. Some people get really wound up about it. I don't care.
If they're
saying ma'am, then I feel like they're being polite to me.
That's what
so
I said.
I'm
to
like,
me,
great.
it's a respectful thing.
That's weird.
Yeah, I just had to throw that out. I'm looking at my phone like, what the?
You should have said, okay, ma'am.
I did. I'm like, I was stunned. I'm like, ma'am, this is just the answering service. I'm like, I just relay messages. She was really upset about whatever it was. It wasn't a doctor's call, but she was really upset. But at 2 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, that's what you choose to...
So that's your thing? At 2 in the morning, somebody who can't see you called you ma'am?
Yeah.
Wow. Probably why she's making a panicked and upset phone call at 2 a.m. in the first place, because clearly she's not having an appropriate thought process.
Other than that, I don't think I really have anything.
Well, my crush is that my husband is finally done with all of his testing, and he is perfectly fine. He does have to go back in 4 months, but they have pretty much clarified that whatever was going wrong with him that they were worried about was due to the very horrible viral pneumonia that he had. It messed up all of his...
Which is what you guys figured.
Which is what we thought, but, it's really scary when somebody says, you might have blood cancer. That turned out to be a complete bust. That was just...
Which is good.
They should not have run that particular blood panel on him while he was recovering from viral pneumonia and taking prednisone. Let's just put it that way. It messes up everything.
Oh, prednisone messes up everything.
Prednisone is bad, so...
It's good and bad.
I mean, it's good for what it does, bad. But it messes up a lot of stuff in your body. So,
it really does.
His panel that he actually had a full body bone scan to look for bone lesions. He doesn't have any. He had a ultrasound of his liver. It's fine.
Oh, good. Good.
And then he had a slew of blood tests, and they all showed that whatever was bad before is slowly getting better. The numbers are all getting better to the point where almost everything is back to normal. So the doctor's like, yeah, you're pretty healthy, but we'll run all the blood tests again in 4 months just to make sure that whatever it is out of your system.
And it's going the way that they want it to go.
Yes. She's like, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you.
That's good.
So, basically in my family, we're just supporting the medical industry with all these tests.
No kidding.
So that's my crush. My son is fine. My husband is fine. My heartbreak is now it's my turn. I've been going to numerous medical appointments because I have wonky test results. Again, word of the day.
Wonky is the word of the day, the title.
And I am now going this afternoon to have a consult for my 4th test where they still don't know 100% what's wrong with me.
Nothing major, though. Well,
probably not. But and I'll talk about it in more detail when I actually know if anything's wrong with me. Yeah, and I'm just like, what? really? You know, each time I go in, it's like,
Go to my world.
I know. Well, I said to my husband, I'm tired of being an outlier. Like, you know,
explain what that is.
An
because I didn't know what that
an
was
outlier
at first.
is, you know, like the average person falls in the middle of the bell curve. You know, you're here. And then there's like people that go one way and people that go the other way. An outlier is like somebody who's like here.
Not even anywhere on the curve.
They're like this random person. And Zachary is an outlier.
Zachary is an outlier.
Because
they said to him once that there is no one else like him in the world.
He's got
and they go, we know you know that, but really medically speaking, there's no one else like him.
What are the odds? He is constantly losing or winning the crap lottery on health. And I am an outlier because I, first of all, had, 8 wisdom teeth, which is totally abnormal. So I was an outlier there. And then I had that crazy heart failure thing, which is extremely rare, outlier. I blame it on my mother, who's also an outlier, who actually got Rocky Mountain spotted fever.
Nowhere near Rocky Mountains.
And a weird eye thing that randomly happened to her. Like, what the heck? So here I am. They're telling you, they give you percentages. Only 10% of people have to come back for this. Well, I'm in that 10%. And they're like, well, don't worry, because only 10% of these people actually have something wrong.
10% of the 10%.
Then they're like, well, only 1 in 5 need to go on from this to the next thing.
1 in 5.
And yet, at each stage where they're like, we'll have a definitive answer, they're like, we still don't really. We think you're fine.
The next step should have a definitive answer, correct?
It should. I want it to, but I'm like, what if they go in there and they're like, oh, actually what we really need to do is this extra thing. I'm like, it needs to stop here. So yeah. But I'm not really worried about it anymore because if they haven't found anything wrong with me this far into the process, the odds that something is wrong, they're going to be like, you're just like this weird person who has this one random wonky thing, but it means nothing because I'm an outlier.
Kind of like your son's heart condition. Or non-heart condition.
We are a family of outliers. What is the problem here? So
yeah, I'm lucky I just have one.
That's my heartbreak. But the reason why we're recording off schedule today is because they called me yesterday to offer me an appointment this afternoon, and I took it because I just want to get this wrapped up before the holidays. So,
and then next week I'm not here.
I will record unless
Maybe you can actually get your mom on the camera.
That's never going to happen.
Put a mask on her. Maybe it'll make her feel better. Is it because you don't want to be seen?
Why is it?
I'm just bashful.
She's bashful. So anyway, that's
There's
my
nobody
heartbreak.
more bashful than me.
But I feel like we're totally supporting the medical industry right now in terms of the testing that we're going through. So yes, I will be going to the hospital again today. Not having anything actually done today. I'm just consulting with someone about the next test that I have to have done. So there's that. But that's it for crushes and heartbreaks.
Baubles and Bling?
You go first.
I have one Bauble and Bling, and it was given to me.
I wrapped it in a plastic bag.
Wendy gave me a Tervis in recognition of me passing my certificate.
Yes.
And I saw a job listing that actually said national certification. I'm like, oh, that's me.
Did you apply for it?
No, I think that was down like in
Did I take the price off?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I did.
I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at this.
No, that's.
But this is an owl Tervis.
Isn't that cute?
And if anyone doesn't know what a Tervis is as of yet, because I didn't know until you got your
I didn't know until my mom kept telling me about them.
It keeps drinks hot and cold. 24-ounce tumbler. It's a lifetime warranty.
Yep.
Virtually unbreakable. Reduces condensation. This has ice in it, and there is no condensation.
No. And it's cool.
Well, I have a lot of ice in it too.
If you put hot water in it, hot tea in it or something, you can still hold it. Although, I like the handy handle, and I would have bought her the handle, but they didn't have any in orange.
I'm not a handle person, so thank you anyways.
I like it, though.
I love the owl
and this is an official Tervis straw, too.
And it reminded me that I have a lovely owl bag that I gotta find.
That I think
I don't know where it is.
Slip Stitch Studios, but I'm not.
No, I don't think that's where it's from.
Anyway,
so that's my Baubles and Bling. Thank you, Wendy.
You're welcome. Congratulations on your test. I felt like you needed a Tervis. Everyone needs a Tervis.
I guess so.
You can get them at Bed Bath & Beyond. And you know how you get those certificates?
The $5 off
or 20% off?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. They're worth it. I bought this Gerber Daisy one, and I didn't bring it, but when I bought that, I bought myself a Tervis water bottle.
Oh.
They make a water bottle, and it's really pretty. It has pink flowers on it. Pink and purple, and I like it. And it doesn't have a handle, obviously, but it's good. So
Baubles and Bling.
I have big Baubles and Bling. I got this, actually. I had a really crappy day a couple of weeks ago when this whole medical thing started.
Well, because it also was in the middle of gym stuff and,
yes,
and Jack
it was
stuff.
Just a lot going on at one time.
The shiitake hit the fan.
It did. But I had gotten a message from Netta, who is somebody that we met at Rhinebeck and that we know from the internet. And she said she had sent me something. And people are familiar with my Jean-Luc Picard doll, especially if you were at Rhinebeck, because I made you take a picture with him. I made everyone take a picture. Netta told me that she had found something in her house that she thought I would really like. And it just so happened that very bad day, it arrived in the mail. And it's a good thing she told me about it, because the mail guy had put the package notice in the wrong slot. So when I looked in the box, it didn't say I had anything, but I asked about it because she had tracked it. And then he's like, oh, yeah, I've been waiting for you to pick that up. And I'm like, how would I know I have it?
Yeah, no kidding.
So she got me, number one, Jean-Luc Picard with accessories. He has a phaser, a little laptop thing, too. It is type 1 hand phaser, tricorder with holster. Oh, see, he has a holster right on him. It's that square thing on this side of his body right there. Personal view screen and a PADD, which I don't know what that is. This is awesome. So, and you can see he's like the miniature version, and he is like the smaller version of the original Jean-Luc Picard that has the broken arm. So I now have them in all sizes. But this is not all she sent, because she also sent Jean-Luc Picard as Borg. This is the best thing ever. And he comes with a Borg cybernetic hand that you can put on him, mechanical cybernetic Borg manipulator, and shield generator coils. And his name when he was a Borg was Locutus.
I don't remember that episode.
Oh, I do. It was cool when he was Borg. So I have Borg and regular, but wait, there's not more. All. If I decide to take these out of these packages, which I really want to do, I can store and display them in my Star Trek The Next Generation collector's case, which can hold up to 12 figures. It's totally awesome. Look, it has slots for all of your figures to be in there. This is the best. I really want to thank you, Netta. This totally made I really needed a lift, and this was it. So, yes. Next year, maybe everyone was going to have to take a picture with Locutus the Borg. He has a little card, too. It's very exciting. When she told me about this at Rhinebeck, I was so excited I was literally shaking. I'm like, are you serious? It's pretty good. So thank you, Netta. I didn't bring anything else. I forgot my yarn. Oh, so I was going to tell you about the yarn that I bought. I went to Stitches East. I did not buy anything except for this yarn. And I wanted something relaxing to knit because I've been through a lot of stress and I just want something mindless. So this is MadTosh sock. This is the Dr. Zhivago Sky colorway, and it's like a charcoal gray. And then I also bought this MadTosh sock in denim. And I bought 2 skeins of each so that I could make my Rockefeller really big. And I bought them at the Webb's booth, which was kind of funny. I went to Connecticut and I bought from the Webb's booth.
Which is in Massachusetts.
About the same. Actually, it's probably a little closer to go to Hartford than it is to go out to...
I think it is.
And I did get a 20% discount. We had a great time at Stitches. But that, like I said, I saw a couple of people wearing the Rockefeller, and I was like, I've wanted to knit it since we saw that rainbow one at Rhinebeck 2 years ago. And I was like, you know what, that would be perfect. That has a lot of garter stitch, a lot of plain stockinette, but then you're changing colors and doing stuff, so it's interesting. So, but that's my Baubles and Bling. Gossip and innuendo.
I'm not going to be here.
She's not going to be here next week, so I will be recording alone.
That's it, because there's no real festivals coming up, right?
Festival season has ended.
What about the Big E?
The Big E already happened. I was at the Big E 2 weekends
that's right.
ago.
That's right.
Remember?
Yeah, sorry. Craft fair is bound, I guess.
Festival season has ended.
In our area, anyway.
Until Spa, which is in the beginning of February.
Is it that far away?
It's after the first of the year. Spa, I can't remember.
On that one if it doesn't fall on a week.
You went with me last time, right?
Not last time, the 2 times before.
Yeah, Spa, it happens in Freeport, Maine. And we usually just go up for the day for the marketplace.
Just a side note, LL Bean was on, was an answer to Jeopardy question about a week ago.
Oh, even better side note. This is good gossip and innuendo. So I have a little story. When I was at Rhinebeck, I was talking to Darren from Knitting in Circles. And Darren, I was joking, he should knit these things that Stephen West created called Swants, which are sweater pants. And I said he has been like buying old sweaters from like a thrift store and turning them into these pants that he calls Swants. And he had mentioned, because everyone needs Swants, and he had said, Stephen West, had said that he was going to do a tutorial and put it on his blog. And so I said to Darren, you totally need to make Swants. Now that you've done a sweater, you need to make Swants. And he said he couldn't pay him to, and I said that I thought for sure he would have a number. And I said, I am going to start a Kickstarter to raise that money for you so that you have to make Swants and wear them on your podcast. So we kind of joked about it. But then Stephen West's tutorial has been published on his blog, How to Make Swants, and all of a sudden it was on CNN. It was on Good Morning America. Like,
really?
Somebody on Good Morning America made Swants and they wore them. If I remember it, I will link you to the video of it. It's like gone viral. Like,
you're kidding.
I am not even kidding. Swants.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I think we had talked about this on the show before because he made a pair of Swants on his project page where he had tried to create the crotch by short rows, but it looked weird, so he made it look better by putting this like shield-shaped design there because it didn't look weird before. Now it looks totally normal. The Swants tutorial doesn't have any kind of codpiece looking thing in that area.
Oh, bummer.
And he has a video where people dance in their Swants, and because he has something that he calls his fun team, and they do these videos on his. You have to go to his blog. It's a whole thing. I will not be making Swants anytime soon, but I think that we should have some kind of a write-in campaign to Knitting in Circles podcast where people beg Darren to make Swants. That would be awesome. Only if people really do it. Only if people really do it. So if you watch Knitting in Circles and you think you would like to see Darren make and model Swants, let him know.
That's Amy
Tell
and
him
Darren,
Froggy Monkey and DJ Knits a Lot. Knitting in Circles podcast. So, if you think that would be cool, let him know. Tell him Wendy sent you. Somehow this is going to end up biting me in the butt.
Yeah, I think it will.
But it just reminded, because I follow Stephen West on Instagram now, and every time he shows a picture of Swants, I kind of want to tag it to Darren so that he can see it, because we were joking about it. So yeah.
That's funny.
That's
funny.
Another time when weird knitter stuff, that is not even mainstream knitter stuff in our little world, but somehow that broke out of not mainstream knitting into the real world.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's funny.
Tell Darren I sent you.
So I guess that's all for the gossip.
That's all for gossip and innuendo. I can't think of anything else. Sheila won't be with me next week. I will try to record by myself. Hopefully I'll have more information next week about what's going on with my medical situation.
That's it.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for watching us.
Have a great week.
Knit with Heart.